So
You don't have to give your last name if you want to. What's your first name?
oh, David.
David? David, you're Jewish then?
No.
Oh, okay.
African, Cuban.
Okay, here's David. We're here at the Bernie Salers Randy in downtown Los Angeles. This is Social Internet News Network. And I just found out a fact that I don't know, and I know 10,000 facts about 9/11. What's the name again?
Oh, there's this artist. He was trained as an architect, Paul Lafley. He went to Harvard, I believe. He's from Massachusetts. He worked for Yamasaki on the trade towers. The World
And
Trade
what
Center.
does Paul know that the rest of us don't?
Well, he has an anecdote about, in this documentary about him, about Bin Laden Construction being a consultant on the project. They can, you know, Yamasaki.
No way. We know that the Bush family controlled the security of buildings 1 and 2. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah. They own the secure company.
Yamasaki built stuff in Saudi Arabia. Bin Laden Construction, one of the largest construction companies in the world. But anyways, Paul was actually pushing for a bridge between the towers and the design phase.
Right.
And then, but he recounts this crazy meeting with Bin Laden consultants because they were the best construction company in the world. So they were consulting about these towers, and it was common at the time. It was this like hyper-capitalist, hyper-development phase. Like in Vegas, they were preloading the buildings with demolition charges. So the Bin Laden consultants like, where do we put the charges? Where do we put the demolition charges? The explosives.
No freaking way.
I'm serious. It's on. You can look it up. Paul Lafley. There's a documentary about him. He's a really interesting guy because he talks about utopianism.
You don't have no idea. My guy in Washington D.C. is on the board with AE 9/11 Truth, right? Going around the country promoting the film and so forth, right? We've donated thousands of dollars, you know, to all our friends in our network, and I've never heard this fact.
Really?
Right?
I heard it from a DJ, from a record. She loved this guy because I'm into utopian architecture, utopian visions of a perfect world. And this guy did all these crazy geometric paintings, and he wrote a lot about like this utopia, this geometric purity.
I love the fancy stuff.
He became disenchanted with architecture after working for Yamasaki in that kind of like hyper-capitalist space.
Well, yeah, if I heard somebody ask him where to put the charges,
well, it was because they were like, oh, this building's too short. You know, in 10 years, we're going to want to tear it down and build 3 times as tall. So they were doing with like MGM Gray, like all these buildings on the strip. They were actually like tearing buildings down and building new ones, 70s, you know, like, and then up until the 80s and the 90s, it's still in this phase of hyper-development where, you know, but they're not doing that anymore. It's a crazy story. I've only heard Paul say that.
And again, it makes you roll your eyes over, so we have to verify the facts. But the facts that we do know is that the Bush family was security for the buildings 1 and 2. And the Washington National Airport where the other plane took off, right? Now, the other facts that we also know is that Rodriguez, the guy, the engineer, he heard the boom, 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 boom. He had keys to all the floor, and he knew 2 weeks before it happened that they cut the regular security patrols and actually tossed people out on the weekend and cut the dog patrols, which were the standard operating procedure, right? And again, we know that the Bush family owns military-grade thermite patent, right? Nobody knew that either. All this has been verified. Now this is a new fact, and we also know what gives it credence. What gives it credence is that the Bush family is partners with the Bin Ladens. They're the ones that bailed out George W. Bush's baseball team when it was going bankrupt. They're the ones that bought it, right? And the Bin Laden team was the family was the only one with the plane that left the ground on 9/11.
They were the biggest construction company in the world at the time, you know.
Unreal.
They had been for decades, and they worked with Yamasaki, the architect, on skyscraper projects throughout the world, and especially in Saudi Arabia.
Now you've given me a whole new mem of where to look for.
I'll try and send you the video. I've posted it like 10 years ago.
Well, do me a favor. Let me explain more to you. Before you send, I'm all over the web. Laser.haas@yahoo.com. Don't get personal in the emails. Matter of fact, hold on.